Do you think that there's a possibility that we live in a simulation?
What do you mean by simulation?
Like some people believe that we like live in a simulation, that like everything, like I think there's two different like thoughts process with this. Is like somebody mentioned it the other day, and some people believe like we might be hooked up and somebody else is like controlling our whole life, like almost like Severance kind of situation. Like
Sure.
some people believe that like if I like, you know how some people are like, oh, everything happens for a reason, like we have like this like divine like point A to point B. And somebody made a good point the other day. They're like, if our life is exactly that, like we are living the exact like life how we're supposed to, isn't that technically like a simulation? So do you think we could be in a simulation?
I guess. If this is a simulation, I want out, but I
Maybe
guess.
is there a panic button here?
Yeah. I think that comes down to like free will versus like destiny versus all that.
It really struck me the other day because a podcast that I was listening to said it, and they're like, "Do you think we live on a simulation?" And I was like, "Oh, like no." I was like, "I don't think so. It's kind of odd to think about." Like I think of like The Sims and somebody like clicking the bathroom and clicking like go potty or something or go eat, and I'm like, that's in my mind it feels so odd because that's what I go for is like The
See,
Sims.
see, I'm neurospicy enough to not to believe that there's no one controlling me and that
Yeah,
I just the chaos in my brain. There's just no way that it could be
it's nobody else. It
someone
has to
could.
be me.
Yeah, this is all me. Is
Nobody
how
else
I
could
feel.
handle it.
No.
Yeah, and you guys will understand why I asked that question also as we get into this episode, because we are going to talk about some games as like Sims games, like simulation games, and small games, like short form games. So yeah, you guys will, this will kind of round out. You'll understand where I'm going with this later on. But first things first, how have you been? What have you been gaming on? I'm super interested to hear because you've been playing Avowed,
I
and
have.
I'm really, really interested to hear like how it is.
Yeah, so I that's been the main like gaming that I've been doing recently is I paid the extra money to be in the early
Oh,
access
did
for
you?
Avowed.
Okay.
I did. Yeah, because it doesn't come out technically until I think the day after this episode comes out on
Oh,
Tuesday,
okay.
I
I
think,
didn't notice that.
officially.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. Um and I've just been watching Severance and rewatching Severance and diving into every nook and cranny of that show. But as far as Avowed goes, like I'll preface this with like I am not a huge fan of Skyrim
Mhm.
compared to the other games in the Elder Scrolls series.
Mhm.
I DM some D&D. And actually, in fact, last weekend I went up and we did a whole D&D weekend at my friend's house, the same friend that I built the gaming table with.
That's right. I feel like you told us about this
Um,
last time.
yeah, and we went and played like the Cosmere RPG and had a lot of fun. So like I like a crunchy RPG.
Mhm.
Um, and Avowed is set in Aora, which is the same world that the Pillars of Eternity games were set in,
Mhm.
which is like a really interesting fantasy world that's all about sort of like souls and rebirth and
Uh-huh.
reincarnation, etc. Um, so I already like was invested in the lore.
Mhm.
So I was very excited for Avowed because I do like the Elder Scrolls, just maybe not as much Skyrim because I think it stripped away a lot of the RPG stuff that I liked from
Yeah, yeah.
Oblivion and Morrowind. Um, but I think Avowed, for what it is a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Like, it's not as crunchy of an RPG as I would like, but as far as like an action game goes, it's pretty fun. There's a lot of lore there. I've seen a lot of people criticize the writing, but I question the politics of anyone who can look at Avow's writing and think that it lacks
Mhm.
nuance and depth.
Mhm.
Because I think a lot of people are upset with Avowed for similar reasons why they were upset with Dragon Age: The Veilguard.
Mhm.
I've seen a lot of comparisons actually between those two games, which is why I think you might enjoy it.
That was going to be my follow-up question, was like, as somebody who knows the kind of games that I like, I keep going back and forth because like I'll watch some of the gameplay and I'm like, oh, am I actually gonna like this? It's like, on your opinion, do you think like I'll end up enjoying it? I'll probably get it on Game Pass, so at least
Yeah,
like I'm not like spending a ton of money. So like if I don't play, I'll just end up playing something else with the money that I spend for the month.
yeah. So it will be on Game Pass. I think it comes out on Game Pass like soon.
Yeah.
It depends. If you liked Dragon Age the Veilguard because you liked the sort of like fantasy action role playing kind of side of it, I think Avowed is a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I'm someone who, in basically every RPG I play, I want to play a spellcaster. And I think the moment to moment gameplay of like having a wand and using the spells and like it's quite polished and quite good.
Yeah.
Like I enjoyed it more than I even enjoyed being a spellcaster in something like Oblivion or Skyrim. If you really want like interesting characters that you can romance and you really want that, I don't think that the companions in this game are as exciting as Baldur's Gate 3. I don't know how they stack up to the Veilguard
Yeah.
yet, but I think that's a common complaint for this game, which I think is pretty valid, that like the companions are fine. They're there. They're nothing to write home about. The first one
Right.
that you meet, he's really cool. He's a big blue guy and I like him a lot. He's very like sarcastic and quippy and but as far as like yeah, so I think if you want like a fun action game,
Yeah.
and it's like it's open world kind of, so like they have big open spaces, but then kind of you travel in between. So there's like big open zones versus like where in Skyrim they just drop you in this massive map and they're like, go have fun, kid, you're the Dragonborn.
Yeah.
This one is like, here's a big space, go explore it. Here's the next big space, go explore it. So I think it's been worthwhile. I'm going to finish it. I'm enjoying it. I don't think it's like, gonna shift the tectonic plates of the earth, but
yeah, it's not
I
that
like
good,
it.
but people will probably enjoy. I'm excited. I want to try it. I like I said, I've been looking forward to it and watching like some of like the reviews and gameplay come out. And so I think I'll probably give it a try also, just to broaden like the games that I do play, because I never played like Skyrim or any of like the Souls like game. Those aren't really like my kind of games.
Okay, Skyrim and the Souls-like are very different.
Okay, but I'm just saying like all of those like yeah, all of those I've never touched any of them.
Well,
so
maybe that's what you could do with your Game Pass if you don't like Avowed. Go play Skyrim.
Mm,
You might like it. You might.
So this will also get me a little bit out of my comfort zone because it's also first person, isn't it?
Yeah.
Which is really weird to me. I know.
Well, you can play in third person.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, you can, but it's very much built to be first person.
Okay. So yeah, I'll probably end up getting Game Pass again. And maybe I'll give it a shot. Like I said, I do want to play and like compare notes. So I mean, if it in the end like I end up hating it, we'll just take Alex's word for how the game goes.
Yeah. I will say that they do, like, I think the writing focuses heavily on like a lot of lore dump, but you could usually like ignore it. You're like, I'm from a kingdom called Adir. I'm an ambassador. Cool.
Yeah.
And then if there's like a fun name that you're like, I don't understand this and I want to, you can like, they have like an index that you can like click on the word in the dialogue box,
that's nice.
and it'll give you a lore dump. But you can also just be like, I'm just here to shoot my little magic beams or fire my gun or whatever.
Yeah, I wish my book that I'm reading right now, which is the third book in the Fourth Wing series, which is Onyx Storm. There's so many moments where I'm like, I wish I had an index so I could go back, because I'll like forget things and I'll be like, who is this person? What magic do they have? What dragon do they have? And like they have like a short one in this one, but I'm like, I need to start like, there's people who tab like their books and they'll like mark it up. Like some people will like only do like spicy scenes and they'll like tab those ones, where I need to tab like all new characters so I can like go back and be like, who was this person? What do they look
I'm sure
like?
there's a wiki.
Yeah. The problem is I've tried to like Google like so-and-so spoiler like free. I don't trust it is the problem. Like, and people don't know like what is a spoiler versus where you are in the book, so I just like try to stay away. Like I'll ask like some of my friends that I know have read it, be like, hey, who is this person? Can you remind me like what they look like or whatever? So
Sure.
I've also been very slow reading this book, guys.
Well, and Onyx Storm, that's the last book in the series, right?
That is published right now. To my understanding, there's supposed to be a few. And from what I've heard, a lot of people are a little torn about the ending of this. And it sounds like it's very much going to be a cliffhanger. And so
okay.
I think there's maybe supposed to be 5 of them. But it definitely sounds like there's definitely going to be another one, to my understanding.
I really think they should end it at 4 books. 4th Wings, 4th book. It makes sense.
That would be smart, yeah.
It just makes sense to me.
It does.
I would be very annoyed if something called The 4th Wing
had 5 or 6
a 5th book. I'll be upset. I'll be irate.
I will say for my book lovers, oh my gosh, this is like news that's not news. So A Court of Thorns and Roses originally got picked up by Hulu, okay?
Didn't it get dropped?
And it did. It got dropped. And like this was like 4 years ago too. There was like super like everybody was talking about it. They're so excited, like it's gonna be made into a TV show. Got picked up, then dropped by Hulu. But to my understanding, so because Hulu and Disney owns Hulu, Disney only had the rights to Court of Thorns and Roses for like 4 years, I think, and that ended or is about to end. So somebody else can officially pick it up now. So I'm very curious to see if somebody else does something. So while it's not like new news, it's good like pushing, like at least there's something. I personally don't think it should be turned into a TV show. I think they could potentially really ruin this book in TV show form. I think these characters were very like specific in the book, and I think trying to get a good cast that people will accept and love is going to be very hard. Yeah, I think it's one of those things where it's like you guys could ruin this. Like, don't meet your heroes; they might disappoint you. Yeah. Don't make your favorite books into movies. Okay, maybe I would be more accepting if, like, I don't know, if Apple TV wants to pick it up, I'll let them do whatever they want. They have proved themselves worthy so much. I do think, guys, Alex and I are going to start maybe doing mini Severance series, or episodes, because this show.
Did you see the twist in episode 4 coming, Lizzie?
I'm trying. Okay. So we need this is maybe if we have time today, if we make this quick, I'm gonna cut all of this out. If we have time, maybe we do a short episode about all of this. Okay. We are not talking about anything Severance related. We're gonna move on because I can't get into it without not talking a lot about it. Anyways, let's get into the nit and grit of what this episode is gonna be about.
Sure.
We're gonna do a whole episode on like short games that we've played. What did I call it? Shorts and Sims. Okay, a lot of these are games that I've like played. Some of these are games I played recently, and some of them are games that I played like a long time ago. I'll start with sim like games, starting with actual Sims, because I watched my sister play The Sims 1 and maybe The Sims 2 as a kid, and that's what got me into like simulation type games. Is sitting and watching her play The Sims 1 on her computer. And then I think by the time I picked it up, by the time I was old enough to like sit down and play like a game by myself at the computer, it was probably about The Sims 2.
Yeah.
I played The Sims 3. God, The Sims 3 had so many expansion packs, which they actually just put it back on EA, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, they like dumped all of them on there. I had so many of them. I spent so much time playing those games, and I have The Sims 4 and I still play it pretty religiously. Nowadays, I just get on there. I'll like build people and I'll build a house, and then I'm kind of done with it. I just like the design aspect.
Have you ever played like Sim City or anything like that? Or
so if we're going to move from like actual Sims to like simulation, like not like The Sims but other ones, I never played Sim City. The big one that I played that was like building a town of sorts was, so they had like Zoo Tycoon or whatever it was, like what was the RollerCoaster Tycoon?
Yeah, RollerCoaster Tycoon. I got that from a cereal box.
Did you really?
Yeah, I got it from like a box of like some Kellogg's thing. You know, they used to have the stuff in the cereal boxes, little toys.
Listen,
I got that on like a CD that was just in a cereal box.
Okay, so this is totally not a Sims game, but I had a CD game that came from a cereal box. It was Captain Crunch, though. And it was a
Mm.
Captain Crunch game. It was so much fun.
Oh
Anyways,
yeah.
I never played the Zoo Tycoon one or any of those ones, but I had one that was called Theme Park World.
Okay.
And it was very similar where you're building a theme park and you could like set the prices of things and you built it and you could like make it like you could build like or buy like land and make it bigger or smaller, and you did like all the same like typical like pricing, like, oh, is this working, is it not. The one cool thing that I loved about this too is you were able to ride the rides. You could ride them in like first person,
Really?
so you could get on them, yeah, and you could also like walk around and stuff. But yeah, you could actually
Could you
get
like
on the rides.
trap people and have them like just caught in an infinite loop and like kill them and stuff like you can in
Okay,
roller
so
coaster? Because that's half
now,
the fun of roller coaster tycoon is like terrorizing your
no,
guests.
that's what I used to do in The Sims. I'd put them in the pool and then I would pull all the
Okay, well I never played The Sims.
and pull all of the. If I wanted to a sim, you put him in the pool, you take
You
all the
take out the ladder.
ladders, and you just press that fast forward
Oh God.
button. Later, that was the end. No, you're out here terrorizing people on roller coasters.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. You just kind of put them in an infinite loop until they like starve.
Oh my
It's the whole
gosh.
thing.
Wait, like on
They
a
run out
roller
of money.
coaster and then they would just like keep going, or like you would
Yeah.
like box them in like an area.
Like they can't leave the park. They're just stuck in the park. There's no exit.
Oh my gosh. No. No.
That's like I thought that's just what you do. That was the whole point of Sims
This is
games,
like the
simulation games, is torturing people.
this is like the conversation that we had about what was it? Mario Kart, and you were like, "Oh, Yoshi." And you were like, "Everybody kills their Yoshi." And I was like, "Oh, okay."
Oh, that's not Mario Kart. That's in
Not
Super
Mario
Mario
Kart.
World.
Yeah. But that
Yeah,
was the same thing. Alex was just like, "No, this is what you do.
you drop Yoshi into the last pit in the level.
And
It's
you
a
make
rule.
your Sims in the roller coaster game go crazy."
Oh, sorry, Miss Holier Than Thou, dropping people in a pool and having them drown slowly.
So you
At
never
least my
played
people
any
are
of the
enjoying
Sims
themselves.
games?
No.
No.
Well, no, at least not like The Sims.
Yeah.
My sister did. It just wasn't my thing. My introduction to Sims games or like simulation games would be like Animal Crossing. Does that count as a simulation game?
I do think so, and that was when I was looking up like simulation games that actually came up was Animal Crossing, and I was like, okay, I think that's right because like you could build a town, you have like your own
Yeah.
little like sim person.
Yeah. I can't remember if it was Animal Crossing or Harvest Moon that I played first, like It's a Wonderful Life for Harvest Moon,
Mm-hmm.
but those were like my introduction to simulation games.
Yeah, mine was the sim, and then I remember playing. Yeah, Theme Park World was like the big one. I'm trying to think if there was any other like big simulation games that we played. Did you ever play City Skyline?
I didn't know.
I was gonna say I've heard a lot of things about it, but I never played it.
Okay, yeah. I see. I've written down. I have very different games. Obviously, the simulation game that I think everyone plays is Stardew. Right? We're gonna
Oh
probably
yeah.
have a whole episode about Stardew and farming sims,
Uh-huh.
and we might have some friends come on. We haven't decided on that, but probably. And then there's two more
Okay.
that I want to talk about. One, I want to take a stroll back to the glory days of the Wii Virtual Console. I feel like I bring this up every episode.
I was just about to ask you about
Um,
this.
and there was a game called Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles: My Life as a King, and it's such a good game.
Really?
You like inherit like a basically a blank slate like kingdom town,
Uh-huh.
and then you're like standing up shops, and then you're hiring adventurers to go on the quests for you.
Okay.
So you're building the town and meeting people and doing all the king shit, and then sending out adventurers to just go and do quests and come back with more resources.
Uh-huh.
And you have to build up your town to a certain point before, I can't remember how the game ends, but like if there was any game that I would want to replay from that era that I just can't find a good way to do it, it's Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles: My Life as a King. Easily like the best WiiWare game, like hands down.
See, when you started talking about Wii, I was thinking about how in like Wii you can make your own Miis. And then like
Right.
you could throw them all in like that like one area and they could all like walk around and shit. And yeah, that's what I used to think that was the funniest thing ever. We had a me for everyone.
Yeah. Did you like make the me's, or did you ever like, because couldn't you import me's as well from the internet? I feel like I had like Mr. T and like a few other like random celebrities just
Really?
as
I don't remember
as
that,
a
but I'm pretty sure you could carry your me on your Wii remote. So like if
mm,
you went to a friend's, I'm pretty sure you could put your me on the remote, take it with
yeah.
you, and you could put your me on somebody else's Wii.
Oh, okay.
Wii me.
That way you can own them as yourself
Hmm.
in Wii baseball or tennis,
And I
or I
remember
guess for you
getting,
bowling.
as a kid, getting so angry when people wanted to make their me not look like themselves. I was like, no, the whole point is to look like you. Like I
That's why
remember
it's
my
called a me,
brother.
not a you.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
exactly. Not a simulation, freaking Alex. Okay, no, you can't have purple hair. Like my brother, I remember he like I don't remember what he did. Like he had it like looking all funky, and I was like, this is not no. And this is why I was like, give it to me. I'm gonna make it, and people were like, no,
What if that's
focus.
just how he wants to express himself? And then he
Express
does.
yourself somewhere else, not on my Wee Me's.
that's that's kind of fucked.
You know what is? I don't think it's actually like a simulation game. It's
No,
more of a world building game. But did you ever play Clash of Clans on your phone?
no, I'm not really much for mobile games. There was like one mobile game I've ever gotten into, and it's called Puzzle Juice.
Huh.
Yeah, it's like Tetris plus a word search plus like Connect Four. It's
You
a
don't play
wild.
any phone games?
No.
Oh my gosh. Clash of Clans was amazing. Me and my husband both used to play a shit ton of it, but it was a very like castle building where like you had like people would come and invade and you had to like if you didn't have your shit set up right, like it would fall and you'd have to like rebuild and all this kind of stuff, but you could also like go attack others and that was
Yeah.
I loved that one. That one and what was the other like building one? It was Fallout.
Fallout Shelter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Another one that I spent way too much time building my little like shelter underneath the ground.
Yeah, I don't play mobile games because I hate my cell phone. If I could not own a cell phone, I'd be happier.
What? I love my phone.
No, get me away from it.
I have no like problem being like no, I love my phone. But it is very bad. Did I sit on my couch last night for easily probably an hour scrolling TikTok? Yes. Is that a
I
problem? Yes.
I'm not saying that I don't do that. I'm just saying that I get down weird rabbit holes when I do. Like
uh,
I've been invested in an internet ship of like this random YouTuber and a book talk girly for the past week and a half, two
I
weeks.
am very interested in.
Shout out to Nassie, okay? Nick Wilkins and Cassie Loves Reading or whatever. Their love is real.
Oh, somebody, I hope somebody who listens to our podcast knows what you're talking about because I bet they're like, my people, I feel seen. Yeah.
Absolutely. You know what? If someone else has been as invested over the past 2 weeks of these random people making okay, let me give you some lore, okay? It was like he's like a YouTuber, does a bunch of Zoomer shit. I don't know. I don't watch his content. And
Uh-huh.
she's like, book talk girly. They were both making Instagram reels about being single. And then people started commenting in their comments of like, oh, well, maybe you two should just date. So they'd be like, Nick Wilson's in
Mm-hmm.
her. And then they started making reels responding to each other. And then like he like, asked her to be his Valentine and all this stuff. And then Sunday of last week, he made a reel that was like him on a plane. And we're like, oh shit, he's going to where she lives to like spend Valentine's Day together.
Uh-huh.
And then they hard launched being on a date on Valentine's Day yesterday, and it broke my corner of the internet. So this is why I don't have a phone, because I get down the
Mm.
weirdest fucking rabbit holes.
I mean, I do get that. Yeah. Now
Yeah,
I'm gonna end up being like, who is this after we're done to go get
I
on
will send
TikTok and watch because this is
I'll
right up my
send you the
alley.
lore.
Yeah.
Okay? I'll send you the lore. I love it when people fall in love, which is, you know what? Maybe I need to read some of these books that you read, Lizzie.
True.
Maybe that'll be an episode. I'll read one book that you tell me to.
That's rough. Speaking of love though, and we are
Yeah.
totally off on a tangent, but I don't care.
Yeah.
Did you
We're all
watch?
in a simulation anyway,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
So
yeah.
it doesn't matter.
Do you have watched Love Is Blind, right?
Oh yeah.
Okay. We started the new season.
Is it worth watching? I feel like half the seasons the drama is just dumb.
Okay, last season, the season before it, so a new one just started on the 14th, okay? I think the season before was okay. I would give it like a 6 or 7 out of 10. The season before that was really really good though.
Was that the one with Bartel or whatever?
Oh, Bartiz.
Bartiste.
That was this past season, I think.
Okay.
So this season has been kind of slow, but I did accidentally spoil something for myself on TikTok last night because it didn't look like the pods. It was like this girl doing like this interview, but like in a hotel, and I was like listening to what she was saying, just like genuinely being like just interested. And then I was like, oh, I know what she's talking about. And then literally looked at my husband and I was like, I just accidentally ruined something, but we are in for a fucking treat. And he was like,
Really?
Lizzie, and I was like, yeah, I know, I'm sorry. I was like, but I think this is about to be interesting. So I'm excited. I don't know. We like it.
Well,
we're very interested.
Maybe that's what I'm gonna watch today. Then I've been looking for something to watch today.
It's all love stuff.
Long weekend.
So
Well, I'm just waiting for another season to have someone as entertaining as Shane. Okay. Just the most like
Shane
wild
made
human being.
My head hurt.
It was so chaotic, but I loved it.
I hope you guys enjoyed our TED Talk, our soapbox, our tangent.
Right.
No, I could go on about reality TV. I fucking love reality TV. Trash TV is so good.
Absolutely.
And Love Is Blind will do it for you. And Shane was a wild child. I really liked his girlfriend though. She was so cute and she was so sweet and so nice.
Every season there's one normal person on Love Is Blind, and I feel so bad that they didn't understand what they were signing up for, and she was that for that season.
This past season, there was a couple. They made my heart happy. Anyways. Okay, is there any other simulation games? Because The Sims and the RollerCoaster one were my two big ones that I was like, no, these are the ones that I like really, really remember playing.
Actually, yes. So this is a game that I've only played probably like 4 or 5 hours of, but my friend was obsessed with it. It's called Against the Storm. And it is a roguelike simulation game.
Is it on PC?
It's on PC.
Okay.
And basically the premise is like you get dropped in the middle of like a woods, right? Mm-hmm. And you have to make a base or a town and build up in a certain amount of time, like by telling people to go harvest wood here, go do that, right? And before it all gets blown away by a storm, and then you start again, but you like carry over certain improvements.
Oh.
It was a really cool like combination of two genres that you wouldn't expect to work together the way that it did. Like it's a really fun game. I think I was just too dumb for it, honestly. But the 4 hours that I played of it, I was like, this is really cool. And I'm really happy for people who enjoy games like this.
I mean, I do think like base game, like games that like you have like a base you have to build is a lot of fun. I get really sucked into them, like much like kind of like Stardew Valley, where you have to like, go collect the wood, build this, do that. We did. I love the ones that you can play with friends. And for a while, Fortnite has like the Lego version of it, where you can like play with friends, where you kind of like get dropped off the battle bus into like this like area, and you have to like build your own base. Loved it. Super fun. Loved like building my own little like town and stuff. So like those kind of games are very much like suck me in, and I'll be like, okay, I'm going to spend as much time as I need to do this.
I was sucked into StarCraft 2 during my generation's Minecraft phase.
I never got into Minecraft.
I know.
And everybody, it bugs the shit out of all my friends.
You and I were on a Minecraft server together briefly, and I like never played.
When were we on a Minecraft server together?
Like 2 years ago.
I do not remember this. I don't even have Minecraft on my computer. I feel like I know what you're talking about ish, like the time frame.
Yeah, it was like Joey was there, Shock was there. It was a whole thing. Do you not remember this?
No. It It's okay. Well, we can talk more in depth about it
It
later.
was like the
That's
time I felt like
hilarious.
the worst friend ever because we were like, yeah, come join our server. And I was like, fine, this is my Minecraft moment. And I logged on like 2 times and was like,
Was I
no.
physically ever like there playing?
Yes.
Bullshit.
Yes.
I don't believe.
Absolutely.
I'm about to go ask more people about this. Okay. Anyways, yeah, there's all of our simulation games. Let's go on to short games, like kind of like I feel like a lot of these games are probably like indie like games. So one of my favorite short games that I played, literally, I never thought I was gonna love this game as much as I did, and I was like, I'm gonna play it again, was Unpacking. Did you ever play Unpacking?
I didn't. I think I watched Lee playing Unpacking.
I was going to say, if you've watched somebody, it's just as good. I really just thought like, okay, this is going to be a cute little like game that like will like appease like my like need to like put things here and put things here and like make it all like perfect and cute. And then you start realizing how quickly it is that it's a story game too. And like each chapter is like more of her life and stuff. And by the end, I was crying. Like,
wow.
it made me cry. I was like, that is so good because there's a lot of trials and tribulations that like you end up seeing her go through. And there's like moments of the game where I was like kind of upset and I was like mad. And I was like, this is so stupid. And like you don't realize it because you just think like, again, it's like open the drawer, put your pencil here, put the scissors here, and like that's it.
Yeah.
But it has a really good storyline behind it.
I'll have to check it out.
That I was not expecting. And I'm pretty sure they do like a little update. So like when I played, I had my friend Liv watched me play it and she was like, oh, this is different than when I played it. So they add like I think they've added like little updates to it too. So it might be slightly different than when like I played.
Oh, that's really neat. Yeah. I mean, I like that conceit. There's actually, when I went to New York in like last year, I went to see a play by my favorite playwright that was like opening on Broadway. It's called Mother Play. And they framed it around, I think she called it a play in 7 evictions, and she framed it around all the major moves that she did in her life.
Yeah, that's very similar to this.
Yeah, it sounds like a similar sort of concept. So I already I'm sold. I probably will play that.
You could probably play it in like 2 or 3 nights too. Like you could finish it out pretty quickly. Sure. I did it really, really quick, and then I was upset that it was over. But
yeah. Okay.
Hit me with one of yours.
Okay, so this is a game that I actually think you would really dig.
Okay.
It's called Her Story.
Okay.
The whole idea of the game is you're dropped onto like a old style like computer with a search engine open, and in the text box is murder as like the search, and then for like a video comes up, and it's this real footage of an actress who's going through like a kind of like a true crime investigation, and it's a little snippet of her being like murder, what do you mean, why do you think she was murdered? And then you search in other terms, and based off of the search terms that it shows up, for like up to 4 videos from this interview appear, and you have to like piece together the story by using like context clues and other like keywords.
Oh hell yeah, you got me.
And you like learn the story like asynchronously, and it takes like maybe like 4 or 5 hours to like find like hour and a half, 2 hours worth of footage that they filmed. But it is so cool.
That is really interesting. I Googled it, and at first I was like, is this a movie? Because I see like the fact that there's like a girl and it looks like actor. Real. Yeah. And I was like, no, not a movie. And then I was like, oh no, this is
it's a game.
That looks very, very cool. Which is, I love like the mystery kind of like stuff. Like I guess they could also be considered short games, like escape room games.
Oh yeah, this is a similar part of the brain as to like an escape room game. And like if you're into true crime at all, like I don't know, it's a really cool concept for a game. And just don't look up any spoilers beyond what it is. Because it's really cool, and it's something it's a game that I wish I could play again for the first time.
That is, that one will definitely be one that I'll need to go look at, because you have me very, very interested in whatever or all of it.
Yeah.
Um, I think the other one that I thought of when I was thinking about short games was, and this is kind of the similar idea of like putting things where it belongs, which is it's called A Little to the Left, which it
Mhm.
literally is just like uh it's more of a puzzle based game basically. So like you'll have like these books and it'll be like 12, 13 books in a row, but they're not right exactly the way they're supposed to be, so you have to like move them around. And like
Right.
so there's different ways to like complete some of these. I will say freaking game made me feel so stupid because like some of these puzzles I was like, what am I supposed to do? And like you can have like it has like a help thing and you can like see part of like the puzzle that you need to be doing. And even so I'd be like, I don't know, I don't get it. But it's just literally just chapter after chapter of these puzzles that like
Mhm.
some of them are like more puzzles, some of them are like, here you're just putting this like smallest to biggest or something, or
Sure.
you're organizing. Like I remember one of them was like you're obviously like in a garage and it's like one of those pin boards, like those tack board things where you can like hang like a bunch of shit, and you have like pliers and a hammer and you have to like figure out how to hang all of it so it like fits basically like a puzzle where you can fit everything though.
Right.
Took me, I don't even think I finished it to be honest. I end up liking watching other people do it more than actually playing myself because again I was like, this makes me feel stupid. But it does kind of scratch that part of your brain of like getting it like kind of perfect and in sync of sorts that I really liked. Speaking of in sync real quick, there's a game that's called
Oh,
in
I thought we were
sync.
going to be talking about boy bands. I was like,
No, not
tangent of the year,
SY, but it's actually it's called like in SINK. It
like
is,
a sync.
yes, in sync.
Okay.
That I have been playing with our buddy Bruce, and it's very similar, like short games where like there's like 12 levels.
Mm.
But each one takes us like 20, 30 minutes. And it's like escape rooms essentially, but you're working together and you can
Sure.
only play with two people. But super freaking fun. It like
Oh, cool.
literally is like just like it's just an escape room, but you have to do it with a buddy. So if anybody out there needs a co-op game, it's
Sure.
good.
Were you much of like a mini clip flash game enjoyer back in the day?
Yes. Stupid impossible game used to fuck me up.
Did you ever play Save the Sheriff, the like platformer where you're the pig going to save the sheriff?
I don't think so.
I was obsessed with this game as a little kid.
Save the sheriff. I'm going to Google it. Go on. It looks very interesting though. Like it looks like a cute little like
Yeah, it's just a cute little
JavaScript
platformer.
little like yeah.
Yeah, that was like a one short game that I had. And then the other one that I wanted to talk about is actually kind of baked into like my lore that I don't think I've shared often.
Uh-huh.
But before I was a Twitch streamer, I was a speedrunner for
Oh.
a little game called Comico. And there
Oh.
was a point in time where I think I had the number 2 in the world. I'm now 10th in the world for any percent in Comico.
Wow.
And it's short. It is 4 levels where you just kind of um run around trying to activate 4 shrines, and then the level exit happens, and then there's a boss, and then
Okay.
once you beat the 4 levels, it's done.
Uh-huh.
um and there's something about just learning how to do it really efficiently really quickly. Like my record's like 22 minutes 30 seconds
Wow.
or something like that. So I like, yeah, way back before we were even friends, that was like the thing that I got a capture card to do, because it's a game on the Switch. It's like
Uh-huh.
$5 on the Switch, and I've probably put like 100 hours into this game.
That's kind of crazy. That's uh there was something that reminded me of that. Now I can't remember what it was. Damn it. Oh, that it's funny that you said you used to speed run it, because then I think of like you coming into like you doing like Breath of the Wild speed runs and
Yeah,
stuff.
I'm doing
Like
bingo.
kind of yeah. Do you think it like trickled from there? Like you're like, oh yeah, I like this idea of like speed running this stuff. I'll have to look it
Yeah.
up because I'm also very curious about what was you were speed running in it.
Yeah, I mean, I'll send you my speed run back from before I was even on Twitch.
We have a lot of speedrunner friends,
I know.
and I think it would be very fun to pick their brain about like what is it about speedrunning that like gets you going kind of thing. Because like, I don't know, I think it's fun. I think it's really cool, especially like
fun.
the ones of like Breath of the Wild where you're like constantly finding like kind of glitches is really, really cool. Which also brings up like people who find glitches in games like that. I'm like, how the fuck did y'all do this? How did you figure this out? Like, how did you figure out like the bomb surfing thing, or like how you fly in Breath of the Wild?
Oh yeah.
Like, what did you do to realize this? Or like how I remember you did one where like you could get into the shrine faster.
Where you like clip
It
through
would
the
like,
walls.
yeah, it's like
Where
again, how?
you land on a shield on a slope, and then when you do a flip and you unequip the shield, you'll have a frame where you like correct to the angle that your shield was at, and then you can like clip through a wall. Yeah.
Like, it's just like,
It's wild.
how did you guys figure this out? Like, I know that
I
there's
didn't
people
figure any
who
of it
like,
out.
to my understanding, like there's a lot of people who like divulge like a lot of their time to like try to find these. But to me, it's like, how do you even go about starting to like, you're just sitting there pressing buttons and hoping for the best. So when something happens, you're like, whoa, here we go.
There are people that is what they like more than even like doing the runs themselves. Just like finding new glitches. And it's kind of wild. Like there are glitches being found for games all the time just by random folks that completely flip it on its head. I mean, shoot, like Mario 64 120 star gets new glitches. Like Canonless came out what, like a year ago, 2 years ago. So yeah, I mean, it's a lot of fun. And yeah, I'd love to have an episode to have some of our speedrunner friends on, because that's like, speedrunning is my preferred way to like play and watch Stardew Valley. Like, because I have played through it casually, but before I played through it casually, I was way more interested just in like the speedruns, because I think I'm such a big fan of like Lee, like a 20-something losers stream, that I feel like there are games that you just, speed running is the way that you consume it. And it's really hard to go. Like, I can't play Breath of the Wild casually anymore because I want to bomb hover everywhere. I want to like
I was
just zip
saying,
across the map.
Especially if you have a love for a game, it's like okay, I already have all this information, all this knowledge about it. So like, why not put it to use to like make the game almost feel new again, which I think is really cool. The last like short game that I'll talk about that I didn't play, but I did watch our buddy Bruce play, which was Firewatch. I've never played, and I missed a lot of it, but what I did see of a decent bit about was really very, very interesting. Like, it seems like it has a really good like story to it. Well, you're not like doing a ton besides like walking back and forth and picking dialogue options and stuff like that. The story of it itself was really, really wicked. Like, we got to the end and I was like, oh, that can't be the end. Wait a minute, kind of thing. And I mean, again, I think he only played it for like 3 or 4 nights, so it was like a pretty quick game that you got through. But I was like, this is good, and I think I need to go back and play it myself and like actually get like from the beginning to the end completely done and really experience it for myself. But I was a big fan of watching it. Did you ever play? No? Okay. I didn't think so. I was like, I don't think this is on the list of either one of us have ever played. But yeah, unless you have any other ones, that's my last one.
No, I think we're good.
Yeah?
I think we're good. I guess shout out to Turnip Boy commits tax evasion.
I forgot that you played that game too. That's funny.
It was awesome.
That's hilarious. I never played that one. I don't remember a lot of it either.
It was awesome. I don't want to play it again, but it was awesome.
I don't want to play. But yeah, just some little short games and some simulation games. And do you think we live in a simulation talk? And then the all 5 tangents that Alex and I just went on. I hope you guys enjoyed it. But yes, I'm hoping that we will have our first guest or guests soon on the podcast. So I hope you guys are excited and interested in that. But I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. I hope you guys had a good Valentine's Day. We don't really do much for Valentine's Day. We really believe it's a Hallmark holiday, and that's about it.
We did more this year than we typically do. I think partially because I made a comment about how we don't do anything for Valentine's Day and Jess took it to heart. It was, she was like, because her brother spent the night with us that night, and because he was driving through town, and he was like, and she was like, "Are you okay that he's here on Valentine's Day?" And I was like, I mean, we don't do anything on Valentine's Day anyway. Like, why does that matter? And then she got very upset that I said that.
Whoopsies.
So I had to get her a Lego set and all that jazz this year.
I got flowers and some candy, and then we ordered in dinner and watched Severance and Love Is Blind. And that was the extent of our night. But yeah, I hope you guys had a good Valentine's Day, and we will see you guys in 2 weeks. Bye, guys.